vision. Wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, wake up, I gotta.
Yes, indeed, we are back and ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. College Cops Podcast back in session. Javaris here, Stackz, Delbridge, forever in the building. I know.
You got some explaining to do.
I know. I was not only was I wrong, but I was dead with a DEADT debt wrong about this Georgia Texas game. Wow. What a performance by, first of all, before we go any further, shout out to Jalen Walker, bro. I mean, oh my goodness. This man was just on a tear. Like, he had a point to prove last Saturday night. And I mean, when you have to go through so much in a season, and then you have that game where you just turn it on, that was that game for Jalen Walker this past Saturday in Austin. So shout out to him. But man, oh man, I've never been reached out within a time frame from the time the game ended to that following morning, maybe around like 9 or 10, of just people like, you ain't got nothing to say now? And I'm like, oh, y'all gonna do me like that? Like y'all were really gonna do me like that? Like, I was wrong, okay? I get it. I apologize. But now I'm on a self-imposed ban for a week of being a Georgia fan, so I can't do anything Georgia related until the week that we play Florida, which is next week, since we're on a bye week this week. So it kind of goes along, it works itself out. But yeah, man, I was dead wrong, and I would never doubt the powers that are Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs ever again, even being a Georgia fan. So
Well, I personally don't think that you were wrong for doubting it, because let's be honest. Up until that point, they had not played
yeah.
like the Georgia we were accustomed to seeing.
Uh-huh.
For those talking junk about who said it was, like, come on, bro. Like, if you realistic and you seen how Georgia's been playing, they have not been playing up until that game. They had not been playing like Georgia football, and they know it. You know what I'm saying? And if they would have played how they played for the beginning of the season, leading up to that point, they would have got beat. But they got some players back from injuries, some players on the field that were key players, especially Walker. You know what I'm saying? Him being a big piece, but uh, if you look at it, offensively, if it wasn't for ETN and that line, you guys were supposed to lose that game.
Yeah.
And then the defense, you know what I'm saying, is what made it possible for y'all, you know? Because, I give credit to Texas defense because they didn't play bad. 3 picks is not a bad game. Had Carson Beck shook, like, you know what I'm saying? Uh, but the run game got going, which had not got going in previous games. So everything that they did, they didn't do in previous games. You know what I'm saying? You let Mississippi State, you know what I'm saying, keep up with you almost in points. Of course, the loss to Bama, how that happened first half. They had just not looked like the Georgia team we were accustomed to seeing. But against Texas, they turned it on because they realized that this was a do or die situation.
Mm-hmm.
So you were not. I personally feel like you were not wrong in your assessment of them leading up to that. So if they are playing like that, my brother, go ahead and doubt the powers that be, because you know what I'm saying. Because call a spade a spade. If you're not playing up to how you are normally playing, and ain't looking good for you, you gotta go with the optics. Like, yeah, like I always say every week, I know dang well we probably gonna lose, but realistically, you know what I'm saying? But as a fan, I'm gonna go for my team, but I'm gonna say it up front. Like, we probably gonna lose this game because we have not been playing that great as of late. Now, if we just so happen to turn it on and we get a win, you know what I'm saying? Just call a spade a spade.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think everybody was shocked that Texas wasn't able to move the ball as efficiently in the first half. But again, different mindsets. You know, it's like just like prime example with the Bama Georgia game. Bama came in hunting. Georgia came in lackadaisical, whatever. This time, Georgia came in hunting. Texas played lackadaisical. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like the underdog story. Because if you technically, when, Georgia was the underdog, and they haven't been used to being that. So they was trying to make a point, prove a point. So I don't think you were wrong at all. I don't think you were wrong at all.
Well,
It's just,
I appreciate I appreciate you for putting things in perspective, but and you're not wrong. I think the biggest thing with me, especially coming off of the Mississippi State game where Mississippi State put up against 31 on Georgia, I was like, oh my, like especially dealing with, again, like I said, the atmosphere in Austin is insane. I mean, they showed it on Saturday, especially even throwing things on the field after a missed call, and I mean it was just like that intensity was on all four quarters, and I mean when you start putting, the dogs in a position where they feel like, all right, now all the odds are up against them, that's when they play their best. And I think that was really a testament of just showing how, Coach Smart has really been adamant on them about that all season. Like, hey, like finish the drill. And that's always been a thing with, Georgia is attack the day, finish the drill, all that. So hey man, I'm happy for him. Not a good showing from Carson Beck though. Three interceptions, 175 yards. Probably one of his worst performances this season.
and
Like,
I mean, it happens. It's
yeah.
probably the best defense, well, secondary wise, that he's
Hmm.
faced. Because even with Bama's secondary was good, but I think Texas secondary is a little more deeper
Hmm. Yeah.
than Bama's. You know what I'm saying? At least at the time. Um but they were giving them some looks. Like, I mean, but thankfully for Georgia, they have they could adapt. They have ETN. So, which is what everybody wanted to see him get going.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I always said it, you know what I'm saying, from the beginning of the season after I saw you guys play your first game, I said, you guys are going to struggle if you do not get ETN going.
Yeah.
Because Carson Beck can't do it on his shoulders alone. You know what I'm saying? Which, I mean, for any quarterback, that would be difficult. But that pressure gets to him, and that's always been, to me, has been his, since last year, has been his downfall. When that pressure gets to him, that's when he cracks in a lot of spaces. But yeah, I mean, ETN got going, and that line has something to prove, and I think it was a lot of backups on that line trying to earn them a spot. So and it showed they were hungry. So I mean, shout out to ETN for his, breakout game and everything like that. So uh yeah, I mean, but that just goes to show you what we always been saying. Like, you can't go in there expecting the same team from last week. Like, even with them now, they can't go into Florida, even though Florida's struggling right now. They can't go into playing Florida last 2 days because
Right.
Florida messed around and upset them. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's possible. I mean, not likely, but we didn't think this game was likely, but it happens.
Right.
It's like we've seen it this year, like with Vandy beating Bama. We didn't think that was likely. We didn't think that would happen. Not that team beating that team, but it happened. So you
Let me
know,
ask. Let me ask you, and I know, of course, with my work schedule, I had to kind of go to sleep a little early, to wake up early in the morning. But I texted you right when I saw something on Twitter as I was laying down, and it was stating that Arch Manning was coming into the game to replace Quinn Ewers. You
yeah,
had some thoughts about that one,
yeah.
so
I didn't like that move.
okay.
Not in that game. Any other game outside of it being a championship game, or well, no, I could respect it in the championship game,
Mm-hmm.
but you are fighting to stay alive. It's not. Honestly, that first half was not yours fault. To be honest, that Georgia defensive line was just, and they was just hungry. Linebackers, defensive line, they was just getting to them. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's a big game. Georgia's not an easy opponent. Like, no matter how they're playing, like the stigma that comes with Georgia, like, they're big, they're fast. Like, I mean, everything you would want a defense to be. They're hungry. So I don't like it because now you create a quarterback controversy, not necessarily with them two, you know what I'm saying, against each other in their own mindset, but now you get the fans creating more of a controversy. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the biggest teardown of a quarterback is when the fans get against them. You know what I'm saying? And yours is not bad. I think he can get the job done. And don't get me wrong, I would like to see Manning in there, but I personally feel like if you're gonna make that move, you should have started the game with him. Or if you were gonna make that move, you should have left him in the game the rest of the way. You know, um, or he should have just been starting from the jump of the season. You know, because now you say, well, this is yours team or whatever, but as soon as he messes up, now you got Manning coming in. Now yours is thinking like, oh shoot, I haven't had this kind of pressure like that. You know what I'm saying? Like prime example, like Carson Beck, not in the quarterback controversy, but the fans are putting pressure on him to be better. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard being a college football quarterback. Not just the game is not what's hard. It's dealing with the fans. Like, do you know how hard it is for every week that you don't know if fans are gonna call for you to be benched? And the fans have more of a voice than a lot of people. The fans want you gone, and they make it known enough. You gonna be out of there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We've seen it before. So um yeah, I just think that if I didn't like it because I felt like it was not going to be any different. Because, yeah, Georgia struggles with running quarterbacks, but to me, Manning is he's not a run first quarterback.
Yeah.
He's just a pocket passer that can run. You know, like Jalen Milroe, he is a running quarterback. Yes, he can throw the ball, but his strength is with his legs.
Mm-hmm.
Manning's strength will forever and always be, I don't care how fast he gets in the future, him being able to read defenses and put the ball on the money. His legs is just a bonus. Kind of like I'm not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, but that statement, it's like a Patrick Mahomes. His gift is getting outside the pocket and throwing an accurate pass, not taking off. He can take off and he can get you big yards, but his strength is improvising and throwing a dot or throwing a crazy pass behind his back and stuff like that, and sitting in that pocket and making a read. You know, Vic, Lamar Jackson, these are guys that can throw the ball a mile, throw it money, but their bread and butter is their running
Mm-hmm.
ability. That's what makes them dangerous, and then the passing makes them more dangerous.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it because Georgia, they were on fire.
Yeah.
So, and when you're playing a Georgia defense, unless you got somebody that's gonna air it out, like how Tua did with Bama against Georgia years ago. Unless you got somebody like that, like you know what I'm saying, that's gonna sit in the pocket and deliver a strike, okay, cool. But that defense was not. It's almost like Kirby was finding his system. You know what I'm saying back then. Now he's found it. You're not. It's not gonna be much of a difference. It's
Yeah.
not gonna. And we saw it wasn't.
I,
So
I I think you're listen. You are spot on. With the whole two quarterback thing, it really shows, especially this late in the season, that you may not have a definite quarterback who's there to run your team. And I
right.
mean, when you, especially coming from the media's perspective, we look at things like, okay, if this is what we're seeing, this is what we're going to go with. And of course, some things make it spin to where it's like, all right, Texas has some QB um, adjustments that need to be made because two quarterbacks. I mean, especially when you have two talented quarterbacks like when you was an Arch Manning, you want to throw both of them in. A lot of people want to have a two quarterback system in game, which is it can it be done maybe, but would you want to see it? Probably not.
No,
But
I personally don't think like if what's the saying? If you have two quarterbacks, you have none.
exactly.
So it's like I mean, unless you just gonna do like the Ravens did years ago, or use one as a decoy,
Right,
or do
right.
a trick play with one.
Yeah.
But because the quarterback position, although it needs a lot of other working parts to be great, that is the most important position next to me right next to the line. I think they go hand in hand. But you can have a great line and a terrible quarterback, and then the season be terrible.
Yeah.
But you can have an okay line and a great quarterback, and that can change everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the leader of your locker room. That's who everybody looks at. That's the quarterback is the one that knows everything about everybody, especially on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what my line is supposed to be doing. I know what every receiver, where they're supposed to be at, my running backs, everything. And that's why every other position you see rotate. The only position that don't rotate is the quarterback.
Yeah.
Running backs rotate, linemen can rotate a little bit less, but they rotate. Receivers, so on and so forth. Except for DBs. DBs don't rotate as much either. But yeah. So I mean, quarterback is the strength of your team because that is the guy you look to. They take the fall when you lose. They take the fall. I mean, they take the glory when you win, regardless if it's their fault or not. You know. So yeah. I mean, we just what I'm saying. I mean, that's a lot of pressure to put
Yeah.
on two individuals. Okay, you're competing, but at first I wasn't competing with him because I won the spot, right? Now all of a sudden I have a bad half. Now I'm competing, and then you spin it and say you just took me out to settle me down, which could be the case, but I just think that gives the media a story.
You're right.
You
Exactly.
know, like I mean, I personally feel like the only time you do that situation is if that's a championship, you got nothing else to lose, lifeline. Uh, Ewers is not making good reads, or he's not doing certain things or whatever. Okay, then I get it. But Ewers was making good reads. He just didn't have time to think. Like I mean, that's not his fault. That's the line's fault. I mean, Archman. I mean, he came in and made a decent pass. But it ended up being the same thing. Like So yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that call because you see he went right back to Ewers right after that. Because I mean, because you say you want him to settle down, halftime was coming up, so you just get out of the half, and don't make the big mistake. Okay, you let him settle down at halftime. You had that time converse, and now he doesn't have that pressure on his back to try to force a play because you can kind of force it when you think that when you're trying to make yourself look better, which is what Carson Beck did. He tried to make himself look better a lot of times and made some errant throws.
Yeah.
Or it was a lot of miscommunication on that side with him and the receivers in a lot of spots. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Let's
didn't
go.
like that call.
Oh yeah, and I mean, hey, still a little bit of season left, so it'll be a race to the finish because now with that Georgia win, it still shakes up that whole SEC standings. So it's definitely gonna be a race to the finish now in the SEC. So excited to see how it ends out in December. Who's playing for the SEC championship in Atlanta come December? So
It could very well be Texas and Georgia again.
it could be, and I would definitely love to see round two. But yeah, let's go ahead and switch gears and move over to this Miami and Louisville game, bro. I think I've been so blinded about how Cam Ward has been playing that I've been totally uh just absent minded of how bad this defense really is in Miami.
Right, right,
Like
right.
Mario Cristobal should be ashamed of himself about how bad his defense is because this game should have not been this close. And I think every game that they've played this season has been
That
close.
is why they have not cracked the top five yet. Prime example of why. Because I mean, it's kind of like Caleb Williams at USC. If you want to be
uh,
technical, all offense, no defense. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like I mean, and the defense is crazy because every time the defense want to show up the last few plays and make plays. Like
yeah,
if you would have been doing this from quarter one, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have to worry about this in quarter four because you got one of, if not the best quarterback in college football right now.
yeah, yeah.
You know? Yeah.
It's I mean, dude, the way Cam Ward just plays, it's just like everything just flows. Like he just makes the game his ability to just slow the game down. He's so nonchalant in the pocket. Like if you guys have ever seen his drop back, it's the most nonchalant drop back. And I mean, he just makes magic happen with that offense with Xavier Restrepo and other guys there. The what's that running back who transferred? Damon Martinez from um he transferred from it was one of the big schools. I can't think of it at the moment, but I know he's a transfer. Um yeah, so when you got studs like that, playmakers around you, it makes the game a lot simpler and it makes it easier for not only you but for that offense to just really just run the field with teams. But obviously, when you have a defense that can't make stands and keeps the game within 5-6 points, it makes it a lot
Right.
harder. So, but yeah, man. But no, but Louisville is not, and this is where a lot of people come and tell me, hey, you need to stop saying that. But they're not a bad team, all right. Louisville is not a bad team, so all shout outs to them, for playing to almost get the upset win, but Miami just had it and they wanted it more, which is I think it's even crazier to me how teams are still within. Miami is only 3-0 in the conference, and we're already at week 9, and they've only played like three conference games, which is crazy to me. I would have thought we would have had like at least 5 or 6 conference wins by now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's how their schedule is set up. I mean,
Yeah.
you play who in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Cam Ward to me, he just strikes me as somebody that trusts his training.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot like Ashton Genty. You know what I'm saying? With the relax in the backfield. You know what I'm saying?
No, that
Chilling.
brother is Michael Myers in the backfield.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's how Cam Ward. That's how he drops back. He
Yeah.
just doing it at a quarterback position. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's confident. You know what I'm saying? He's calm. Like I love it. I love to see
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? It's fun. It's fun to see the youth. You know what I'm saying? Getting some W's or whatever again. I just want to see how far they take it. Will it be a matchup of Miami and Clemson? Which I mean, that would be their biggest
Oh.
test because Clemson's defense has been balling as of
Mm-hmm.
late, and the offense is clicking. So I mean, we've seen that nobody has a problem matching them in points. It's just when the buzzer go off, Cam Ward turn into Cam Ward. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I think everybody's looking forward to that matchup. Hopefully for the ACC championship with Miami and Clemson, and
right?
yeah, that's hey, I'm ready. I'm ready. I hate to say how ready I am for championship week, but at this point, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it, and I mean, and I think another thing that has definitely been um, reiterated is how the state of Tennessee is running Alabama through the ringer.
Yeah, this year they've had a year.
Oh, it's been
I'm
it's
gonna
so
say I'm gonna say kudos. I mean, I've already talked about Vandy,
yeah.
but I just want to say kudos to Tennessee. They figured out a way to get it done. You know what
They
I'm
did,
saying?
and it was a slow start, bro. That was the slowest game I've ever watched ever.
Again, big games and big moments.
Right.
Like you got to be able to, you know what I'm saying?
But for
But
Tennessee to pull it off is, I mean, hey, like you said, kudos to them. They found
yeah,
a
they
way.
figured it out. I mean, and they schemed their running backs open
Yeah,
so beautifully. You know, and yeah, I mean the pass game got going finally. You know, we thought that Amaliva was gonna leave for the game, but I know I said that wrong. But
oh God, I
but
hate you. I hate
but
you.
yeah, but nah, he came back and did his thing,
Yeah.
man. He made some big passes and big moments. You know,
Can we talk about the play where he? I'm not laughing at the fact that he got injured, but the play that he got injured right after that. The backup came in, bro. Why did the backup go out there and throw a pick?
yeah.
And they were moving the ball down, bro. They were trying to
Yeah, I
get the ball.
mean, I don't know why you would like. I guess they didn't
Like,
understand. I guess they were trying to get some confidence in him, but
bro,
that was the wrong read.
that
Like
was the
completely.
worst thing. If I mean, you have one of the conference's leading rushers with Dylan Sampson. Why not let him get a few yards, then let Nico come back in?
Well, I think that's why I say I don't think they knew how severe the injury was, so they were
Oh, yeah,
trying to get him comfortable just in case he had to cook the rest of the game. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because I mean, if you just run it 100 times, they just gonna figure out how to stop the run and then
exactly, yeah.
ball game. But I think the play was designed for a shorter pass than that. But I think he took matters into his own hands and said, "I'm finna earn this NIL deal right here, right now."
This is the biggest. This is probably gonna be the
Right,
biggest moment of my life. So
right, and it ended
why
up
not
being the biggest
capitalize?
worst moment of his life. The biggest worst moment of his life. He
The
literally, you could
biggest
do
mistake.
nothing more wrong than that, except for pick them up and take them into the end zone. That is literally the only other option that would be
Woo,
worse than throwing that pick at that moment.
man, I was just I was I think I was more in disbelief about that pick than the pick that Milrow threw in the end zone on that fade. Was it a fade route or whatever it
Yeah,
was?
man, Miro, he's forcing stuff way too much. Like
Mm.
if you think about it, he's it's like he's trying to get Ryan Williams stats. You know, it's like he's trying to feed him so that there's a headline, or he's trying to feed him so he get look whatever. I'm not saying that that's what is happening, but he literally looks at him every time first, and then second, and then third, and then oh, I got another receiver. Now I'm gonna throw it there. Like, bro, like if it's open, throw it. I don't like. Now Ryan Williams is, don't get me wrong, tremendous athlete, tremendous talent, but he's gonna demand a lot of attention. So that therefore get your other receivers involved. Don't force the passes downfield. Like that's what killed him in the Vandy game. That's what killed him in the Tennessee game. You know, I mean, luckily for him, it didn't kill him in the Georgia game, but it almost did a couple times. It literally a half inch to the left, and that's a pick instead of a tip pass to Ryan Williams. You know what I'm saying? So he's
Yeah,
got to stop forcing the ball. Let the ball like let the play develop, and if it's not there, go to somebody else. Like
yeah.
don't force it. Like
And I
that's what I've been seeing. His problem is this year. It's almost like he's trying to force the issue. You know?
and me personally, I think Jeremy Bernard, the other wideout. I mean, man, he is a problem within
Yeah,
himself.
he's a dog too. He's a
Yeah,
dog too. But it's almost like they, because Ron Williams has been the talk. Like
right,
that's what
right.
everybody's been talking about. And don't get me wrong, his big playability is unmatched. And for him to be 17, for him to be a freshman, for him to be doing this at Bama is tremendous.
Yeah,
But literally, like prime example is to compare, like not to get off topic, but to compare that situation like Colorado, Travis Hunter, everybody knows Colorado. Travis Hunter is the wide receiver one. That is the go-to guy. That is Mr. Explosive. But Shadur gonna get it to everybody else too. She's gonna get it to, you know what I'm saying? What's his name? Bernard? Not
no,
Bernard.
Webster.
Webster. Webster. I'm thinking about the Bama guy. But
Mm.
yeah, like Webster, he's a dog and he gets his touches and stuff. So it's just the same thing with Bama. Like you gotta get your other guys some touches because if everybody's confident in cooking, you know, that makes it harder for everybody else to stop. But Bama, if they went out, they could potentially land themselves a spot. You know, depending on how the rest of the teams do. You know, the closing out the season. But if they went out, I see no problem as why they can't make the 12-team playoff.
Okay.
I see
Uh,
no problem as I mean, a lot of people already written them off and counted them out.
yeah.
But luckily for them, you in the SEC. So if you finish out and Vanderbilt keeps winning, Tennessee keeps winning, okay, those losses were against good teams. That's how the committee was going to look at it. And then if you keep winning, you went out, okay, your only two losses were against a solid Vanderbilt team if they went out. And Tennessee, okay, they went out. So you got two losses against two solid teams.
But they were still on the road, though. What do you think they take in consideration with that, as far as those being road losses?
Well, I mean, and that's on top of that. That makes it. I think it makes it even more stronger of a case
Mm-hmm.
because think about it. Both of those losses were within a touchdown or two or whatever, and they were on the road. You know what I'm saying? You lost against two good teams. If Vanderbilt wins out,
Mm-hmm.
Vanderbilt doesn't win another game, then that loss is terrible. But if Vanderbilt wins out and they only lose the two games that they lost or the three games that they lost, whatever it was, that's a solid win. But if they don't, changes things. And then Tennessee, the same thing. So I think all of that plays a factor. We know with the committee, they're going to look at all of that, and it's going to be like, oh, well, you left this team out, or it's going to be, oh, well, they just trying to help Bama out. But if you really look at it, and then you beat Georgia, so that's the strength that you have, too. So, and if Georgia wins out, that's a stronger win, too. So, I mean, it could all balance out, just depending on how the committee looks at it and how the rest of these teams finishes out. So it's literally their fate is in other teams' hands, in my opinion. I mean, they still control some of their destiny if they win the rest of their games. So if they go undefeated from this week on, then Vanderbilt goes undefeated from this week on, and Tennessee wins out. And it looks like, oh well, we just slipped up against a good team. You know, twice. So I mean, last year, heck no, they ain't making the playoffs.
Right.
This year, it's a possibility. I'm not saying they will, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. Just like if Georgia would have lost to Texas, I think yeah they probably won't make the SEC championship, but they still get a bid. They still go to the playoffs because you lost against a Bama team. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how that stuff shaked out with them, and then you would have lost against Texas, which was the number one team at that time. So I mean, yeah, I mean it's gonna be interesting.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I again, like the whole SEC is just in a shakeup right now. So
I
I think
love it.
it's yeah. I mean, it's must see television right now. So that's what really adds on to the excitement factor of the new college football playoff rankings, and as well as just the way that the SEC now is a free for all. So it's great. I think everybody has been enjoying it so far, and if you're not, then your wood is wet or whatever the saying is. But anyway, LSU Arkansas. I've never
Uh,
hold on. I think I have to get this out. I have never seen a more consistent quarterback be so uncomfortable on the road than what I seen with Garrett Nussmeier this past weekend. Like you literally just knocked off Ole Miss the week before, throwing touchdown after touchdown, but you couldn't get a single one this past week on the road in Arkansas.
That's why I say you gotta watch the game because
Yeah.
if most people look at Arkansas's record, they haven't watched them play.
No,
Arkansas's defense.
I've watched. I've
No,
watched it.
no,
Don't
I'm
get
not.
me.
I'm not saying
Oh,
you. I'm just saying people in general.
yeah, yeah,
Arkansas's defense is phenomenal.
yeah. Mm-hmm,
They have a great defensive coach.
mm-hmm.
It's just their offense that's terrible. You know, the defense is phenomenal, but that's why you gotta watch the game, and then every week is gonna be different. You're gonna get the best of somebody every week, and that best might be different from someone else's best. Like Georgia's best, obviously, is different from Arkansas's best. But you come in that game thinking that you was gonna blow them out or whatever. No, these jokers is hungry. They ain't got nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, if you think about it, what I love about this new system of playoffs, everybody feel like they can have a chance to get in. Think about it, and everybody's playing like that. Like I haven't seen this much excitement around college football like the way I have this year, because everybody just seems like they're playing more, they're
Mm-hmm.
playing harder. It just seems like it's close to being an upset, multiple upsets every week, not just one, but multiple. Like one week we had like 5 upsets in a row, like on the same Saturday. I haven't seen that in a while. Everybody feel like they got to be it. You lose 2 games, okay, cool. Long as we win out, we can have a shot. Not saying that we'll get in, but we have a shot at getting in. That's how everybody's looking at it. Yeah, they taking, you know what I'm saying, the conference champions, but the rest of the teams that get in, we feel like we can be in that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? That's how everybody's playing, and that's how Arkansas played too. I mean, yeah, I mean that's how they played us when they played us. You know what I'm saying? They disrupted. I mean, I know our quarterback isn't as good as Nussmeier, whatever, but they had them jokers rattled. Like I mean, that's yeah. I mean that's the SEC this year. The SEC this year is crazy,
very true,
crazy man.
very true. And I think that's that man again. The whole, I mean, these guys have just been battling this year, and that's again, this is what makes the SEC one of the best conferences in the country, is because these guys battle week in and week out, and when you have upsets like this within the conference, come on now, like that just show again resilience. And I mean, nobody thought Vandy was gonna be like this. Nobody thought Alabama was going to lose to both Tennessee teams in one season. And again, we talked before we went on, and you were pretty much saying like this is a new head coach. This isn't the Nick Saban era anymore. You know, like Kalen DeBoer has a lot on his plate right now. So, and the man just turned 50, so he definitely has a lot of maturing to do within the SEC, because again, this is a new conference for him. This man has never coached in the SEC or a
Right,
big
right. He never
conference
coached
like
in
the
the
SEC.
SEC before. It's
Yeah,
it's
so
different.
it's a lot. It's a lot for him right now. So I mean, it takes time, and it's he's gonna have to get it together quick though, because Bama
First
fans
of
are.
all, I just want if I have some advice for him, the one thing he should not ever do is underestimate the crowd noise in an SEC stadium
Mhm.
ever again. Yeah, you at Washington, cool, but SEC stadiums is a whole different ball game, especially Tennessee, Tennessee, the swamp, you know, Georgia, you know, Auburn when we play good.
You're right, right.
uh, I mean, I mean, the list goes on. Like these stadiums get to rocking, man. Like it's, bro. I mean, I just don't want him to underestimate again. Like, yeah, it's just a different. It's different. What they
I like
say, it
it.
just means more.
Hey, and it does mean more. It's so funny you say that, because I'm literally scrolling on the SEC Instagram page now, just making sure I'm not missing out on anything that's coming. Because again, when you're on top, brother, listen. It takes a lot to come crashing down, and I mean the SEC has done a great job of just continuing that dominance. You know, having pretty much leading the pack, and man, that's again. This is why they're the dominant conference in the country right now, because they put
Right,
out so much talent. You know,
right.
but yeah, man. I think that um LSU LSU will be fine. LSU will be fine.
Yeah, I
Jared
mean
Nussmeier,
they're playing
he's not a
better.
bad quarterback. He's not a bad
Yeah, I mean
quarterback.
everybody has a bad game.
Yeah.
Everybody gets flustered. I mean, yeah, I mean it's no secret. Like Ole Miss's defense has never been their strong point. Well,
Mhm.
it hasn't been for a long time. I mean, so you know what I'm saying? Their offense is good. No, don't get me wrong, but I mean, every week is a new challenge. Like
You're
you're
right.
gonna get something new every week, and you're gonna get somebody's best every week. You
Mhm.
know, whether it be that whole team or it just be that one player. Like to me, with Georgia, Georgia had three players on the defense end that just came to play, and it made everybody else's job
Yeah.
so much easier. You know what I'm saying? And then on the offense, ETN and that offensive line came to play,
Mhm.
and then everybody else just kind of fell in place. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
but
also, you gotta give a shout out, and I gotta again, like you say, give credit where it's due. I think Glenn Showman definitely showed a lot, of um changes, this week against Clemson. I mean, I'm sorry, against Texas, and also, Mike Bobo opened the playbook up a little bit, so that was good to see. You know, that they're actually trying to make adjustments, and you know, and I'm kind of shocked that we're just now seeing it, especially with Kirby being a defensive minded coach. You would think that he probably would have had some type of hands on with the defense, but I think he
Well, I
kind
mean,
of also
he
is.
does. I mean, but
Yeah.
you can only do so much.
Hmm.
Like you're not on the field with these guys,
Yeah. Right.
and
Right.
then on top of that, you got injuries, so you got people. So you have a game plan, and then you got different people in those spots.
Hmm.
So then you got to change your game plan, and then you got the game plan that's in the game, and then that's not working. Now you have to adjust.
Hmm.
Okay, have we like for the Bama game? They had a game plan coming in that wasn't working. So
Right.
it's hard. It's not like basketball. With basketball, you can kind of adjust on the fly. You have a game plan for a reason in football. That's what the second half is for. If you notice, every time, you know what I'm saying, it's the same thing in the first half, but then second half is like a whole different team. It's because they make those adjustments. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I know he has his hand in defense, but you want to give you want to be a head coach. You don't want to be coordinator and trying to run the entire defense. No, that's what you have coordinators for. Uh, but I think they find. I don't think he's been doing a bad job. I don't think the defensive coordinator's been doing a bad job. I just think that it was some pieces that were missing from his game plan,
Hmm.
and when those fall through, it's kind of hard. Like, because you can't that's like Ray Lewis getting hurt in the NFL. You can't make you the backup can be good as he want to be, but he's not Ray Lewis. He don't have the same mentality, don't have the same vision, don't have the same aggressiveness, don't have all of that. So the same thing with Georgia. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, that's all.
I got you. I got you. I got you. And I think that's a great place to put that bookmark right before we close out with Clemson and Virginia. I think both of us have been pretty much saying how well Clemson has turned that program around since the game versus Georgia in week one, and it's good to see that you know Clemson is on back on the climb and back in the hunt because
Right.
I think a lot of people were worried. Like we were like, oh,
Right. Because I mean,
okay.
if they didn't make something happen this year, it was gonna be like, yeah, Dabo, you probably got out of there.
You know, and I think if it was just me or if it was both of us, but we were just pretty much saying, you know, for a coach that didn't really go in the transfer portal this year, who pretty much was like, nah, I'm not really. I think the guys that I have are going to get the job done. You know, not really a huge fan of NIL. Not really, you know, like a lot of people were like, nah, nobody's going to really want to play for Clemson. But I mean, you know, hey, he's showing like, hey, like I'm showing you, I don't need all that to have a good program. So shout out to Coach, man.
Yeah,
Coach over there getting it done.
ACC is no longer up for grabs.
Yeah,
It's between Clemson and Miami as of right now. So,
Dabo
and I said at
said,
the beginning of the year it was up for grabs.
yeah.
It used to be Clemson's, but now Clemson has turned it around. So,
But I mean, Dabo usually runs the ACC, and now that you have my Miami team, who we were literally just talking about last year, who they what did they do that last season? That
yeah, he caught a run play and fumbled the
yeah,
ball against Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech went down and scored. Yeah,
exactly. So for this Miami team to have made a turnaround from just a season ago, it's really kind of cool to see that you know like the
now
ACC.
the scary part though, whenever teams turn around that fast,
Hmm.
the following year they're usually terrible.
Oh yeah, he's losing a lot. Mario is going to be losing a lot of guys in this
Like,
offseason.
I mean, think about it. You got Cam Ward, which is obviously the face of it all
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
He's going to the league. I mean, and the next year is usually like, yeah, we're not going there because the people that we wanted to play with are not going to be there. Like,
Mhm.
prime example, LSU 2019, dogs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were
Yeah.
beasts. 2020, nowhere to be found. he.
That's. But you're right though. I mean, to go from one of the
But
greatest teams
I
ever.
mean, I can say that with Auburn too. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, with Cam was here, you know, we walking everybody, and then
Mhm.
the next year, crickets. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't until 3 years later, you know what I'm saying, that we competed for a championship. You know, so I
I
mean,
agree.
yeah, and it's same thing with LSU now. Like I mean, 2019 they won it, and then now they getting to the point to where they being relevant again, and then now Clemson is trying to get something together. Uh, you know, Miami trying to figure something out. They just got to figure out their defense, and
Mm-hmm.
Clemson looks like they bread and butter. I see no nothing else standing in their way except for Miami, honestly.
Okay.
And Miami, I think they'll go as from this point on, they'll go as far as Cam Ward to take them because the defense ain't gonna do it. That's how I feel.
I'm listen. I think everybody's just ready to see Clemson potentially get knocked off that high horse if Miami can get it done.
Well, they kind of got knocked off the high horse last year because they didn't make the championship last year.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, for them to have pretty much make a somewhat of a resurgence in a way, I don't know. But I think again, a lot of people are ready for this matchup to see what Clemson and Miami does.
For
So,
sure.
what you thinking? You good? You good right there? You good on that?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
All
good.
right.
I'm just kind of ready for what I'm saying, what Saturday is gonna bring now.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and speaking of Saturday, let's go ahead and see what these matchups are talking about real quick. First off, I do want to say, hey, college basketball is right around the corner. Really looking forward to this season. I know we've kind of been getting a little. We've been getting eyes somewhere on some little preseason matchups that have been going on. Of course, we are South Carolina women's basketball fans here, so we've
Oh, all day long.
definitely been keeping an eye out for South Carolina and seeing how they've been doing. They played against Memphis either it was last week or the week before last, and they went to Memphis and won that game. But yeah, man, super excited about college basketball coming. And before we go into our Saturday predictions, I do want to take the time real quick and pause and give this breaking news. UCF's head coach Amir Abdur Rahim has just passed away at the age of 43. So please keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers in the upcoming days. Super sad. Definitely a head coach that had a lot of promise in the Big Ten. I mean, I'm sorry, in the Big 12. I want to say they're in the Big 12. They may be in the American League. I'm not sure. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in right now. But super young, 43 years old. So definitely again keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers. So yeah. So let's get into these Saturday predictions real quick. Did I say UCF or USF?
You say
It was.
UCF.
I'm sorry, University of South Florida, USF. So yeah. All right, let's get into these predictions real quick, brother.
All right.
Week 9 matchups. Here we go. 7:30 on Saturday. We got LSU and Texas A&M. Who you got?
Ooh, tough. I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
A&M on that.
it ain't. I don't. After
A&M
so,
been playing good ball as of
but
late.
at the same time, they were just in a trap game this past week against Mississippi State. Looked a little sluggish, but they came out with the W.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
Mississippi State been kind of trying to creep in as a trap team too.
now Mississippi State they finally starting to find their groove with themselves. I
It's
mean, it's
too
gonna be
late
a
though.
little too, it's gonna be too late, obviously, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's good for next year.
Okay. So who you got?
A&M,
Okay. With the upset.
yeah.
All right. I'm gonna take LSU this week. I think LSU really has a lot to prove. I think Gary Nussmeier really turns things around from last week in Arkansas. So I'm gonna go with LSU this game. Friday 8:30. Boy, this is a G5 game of the year, man. 17 Boise State versus UNLV. Who you got?
Uh, I got boys. I
Yeah,
think Vinci gonna have a great game because yeah, I think that's
yeah.
gonna this boys. I got
Man,
boys.
I don't know. This is a big game. Heisman Malik Williams from UNLV, the quarterback that stepped in. Ricky Williams from UNLV. I think those are just two studs. But man, you can't stop Michael Myers, brother. When he just getting that in that backfield pose, brother, you in for a rude awakening. So I'm gonna take Boise State for that one. 12 p.m. on Saturday on Fox. Nebraska #4 Ohio State. Who you got?
I got Ohio State.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Ohio State this game. Man, Dylan just he, especially last week against, I think they played Indiana. Man, I think Indiana routed them 56-7. Just really slow start for Nebraska, and it's just not looking really hot for them right now. So, Ohio State is just cruising with Will Howard and Egbuka and Jeremiah Smith and all those guys, those studs. So I'm gonna go Ohio State. All right, 12 p.m. Saturday, Notre Dame and #24 Navy.
That's
The
gonna
the
be an
the
interesting game.
man, I
I
can
have no
well, I can't
idea
get the
who I
words
want for this
out.
game.
You said what?
I have no idea who I want for this game.
I man. So Notre Dame came off a great win in Atlanta against Virginia Tech. I'm sorry, against Georgia Tech. Um,
Uh,
man,
Navy's
like
been playing some good ball though, man.
yeah, Notre Dame has looked really good this season. But again, they can have them wins and then fall. Ah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I'm
take
gonna go.
Notre Dame. I'm gonna take Notre Dame.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go opposite.
Okay, you can go Navy. All right. 12 on Saturday on the Big Ten Network. We got Washington and 13 Indiana. Who you got?
I got Indiana.
I'll take Indiana this game. 12 on Saturday, ESPN, Oklahoma versus 18 Ole Miss. Who you got?
I think Oklahoma's defense is pretty solid, so I'm thinking Oklahoma with the upset.
Brother, I could not disagree with you more. I think Ole Miss takes this. There is nobody that can stop Trey Harris and Watkins. Man, those guys are just route kings dang near. So
Yeah,
I think
I mean, their record don't reflect that, but that's
uh,
okay.
I'm taking Ole Miss. Any
That's
three
fine.
thirty 3:30 Saturday CBS. #20 Illinois versus #1 Oregon. Who you got?
I got Oregon.
I think Oregon takes that one. Ooh, I never thought I would see a closer matchup like this. 3:30 ABC on Saturday. 21 Mizzou versus 15 Alabama. Who you got?
Man,
I know, bro. I never thought I would be saying
I'm
that
gonna
they are
go.
close like
I'm gonna
that.
go with Bama only because they got a point to prove.
For sure. I think Bama just at this point they have a nasty taste in their mouth after being just absolutely,
They've been being talked about so bad right now.
bro,
So yeah,
like the state of Tennessee is running laps
because
around
if I'm
Alabama
not
right
gonna
now.
lie, if they lose this game,
Cut it. It's done. But at the same time, we don't know if Brady Cook is healthy, so that could
that
definitely
Joker
be a
played. He played last week. He finished the game.
that could from this week. From that week to this week, it could definitely be a lot of stuff that may have
Man,
happened.
that he finna play.
All right, if Brady Cook is healthy, I think I still don't think they got a chance. I'm gonna go 15 Alabama. All right, here we go. 14, 4:15 on Saturday, SEC Network. #5 Texas against #25 Vandy. Who you got?
Ooh, I think Texas only because I feel like they got a point to prove after
Another
losing
point
to.
to prove. But at the same time,
But Vandy's been playing some great ball.
I have a severe issue with this. Why is Vandy getting all these good teams at home, but Georgia had to go to Austin to play Texas in their first year? I don't like that. But anyway, I'm going #5, Texas. I think Texas really gets the job done in Nashville. But oh my God, that really just upset me. 7 p.m. on Saturday, ESPN, Florida State versus #6 Miami. Who you got?
Miami,
How
Florida
about
State started behind.
that? There
Anybody
should
going
have
Florida
been
State?
there shouldn't have even been a second thought about that.
It
Um,
ain't. It wasn't. You see
all
how
right, just
fast I
making
said
sure.
it?
I gotta make sure with you. Number six, I got #6 Miami on that one. I have nothing left to give, brother. I am tired. I am you. You are listen. They told me about you. They told me about you, brother.
Whatever they said, they were right. Either way.
Oh man, well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been another phenomenal episode of College Couch Podcast. Again, we cannot thank you guys enough for rocking with us for an hour. Hey, continue to like, subscribe, share, like, comment, whatever platform you listen to us on. Continue sharing it, getting our name out there. Hey, we can't do this without y'all. Y'all know that. Also, thank y'all so much for the birthday love this weekend. Your boy turned 26. I am officially off my parents' insurance. As Stackz always says, at the end of the podcast, we got bills to pay. I definitely got a lot to pay now. I am hurting. So please, please, please continue showing us love and support. Hey, I can't ask for more. Thank y'all again for everything. I love each and every one of y'all that continue to show us love and support. So thank y'all. Stackz, take us home, brother.
Man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in with us this week, man. Continue to like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend, tell their auntie and their cousin them to College Couch is where it's at. You got somebody that needs some shine, that doing their thing, whether it be in football, basketball, volleyball, softball, don't matter. As long as they playing a college sport, we want to cover them. We're gonna give them the shine that they do. So holler at us. You can DM me. I'm Jay Stackz. You can DM Javaris. It's Javaris L. Harris. Or you can just hit the... Huh?
Keep
Okay.
going. I'm sorry.
So, or you can just hit the College Couch page and let us know what's up. You know, either way, we answer DM. But right now, we got bills to pay. We gonna holler at y'all, man.
Wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, I gotta go.